What is going on, Colts Nation? He is Jamal, and I'm Eric, your co-host of the Colts Cast.
What it
Hey,
do?
look, I'm about to count it down. DeForest Buckner, Samson Ibacom, Quiddy Pay, Taquan Lewis, Daniel Scott, Juju Brents, Jonathan Taylor, Will Fries, Anthony Richardson, Michael Pittman, and Gus Bradley. Jamal, what do all of them have in common? Well, actually, it's they don't all share a commonality. It's actually, what is it all equal to?
Disaster.
The struggle bus, disaster, however we want to call it. But we're on the struggle bus. That's the ride the Colts Nation has been put on, and we've been on it for a few years now. I feel like the wheels on the bus really go round and round. I sing that song all the time for my little daughter now. And they haven't stopped. We've been on the struggle bus for so long. It's frustrating, but somewhat predictable. Notice how I put Gus Bradley's name in there. Jamal, please explain the Colts struggles to everyone. Lend them your insight.
I mean, the Colts are just at a bad spot right now. You got to talk about it, and you mentioned all those players being out, and of course, we know injuries are inevitable. We talked about that all preseason and how this is probably going to happen. But before I go deep into that, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Drop a comment below. Let us know how you feel about
And we
what's going
hit
on.
2,000
Hey, we
subs.
did. Yeah, we did.
It took a minute, but we
man.
finally hit it.
Shout out to everybody listening.
Shout out to all the subs.
Yes.
You heard my call to action last episode, so I appreciate it. And welcome to all the new viewers who are listening now. Jamal, where are we about to begin?
Let's just man, I don't even know. Let's just talk about just with the offensive side of injuries real quick for us. So with us having MPJ out presumably for a couple weeks. Of course, JT still isn't practicing right now. I think he said today that his ankle's feeling a lot better, but he's still not going to be out. Oh, well, we don't know if he's going to be out there. But Trey Sermon practiced today. He's having some collarbone issues, but of course, we're missing Will Fries. Braden Smith, I think, is still questionable at this point. These are issues, man, where it's just like they're all piling. Anthony Richardson, he's out there. I think he was a full go today, or he was at least upgraded.
Yeah.
So I think he should be out there. Yeah, I'm glad to see him back out there. But man, like even with these injuries that we've been having on the offense side of the ball, we've still been able to put up some decent numbers week after week, and I've appreciated that because injuries suck. I mean, we know they do, but I just don't know at what point on the offensive side of the ball do we worry about these injuries that are happening, because it's just kind of running us rampant right now. And we'll speak on the defensive side, but I like the way the offense has at least been able to kind of adjust to what's going on. And I feel like some of our depth pieces have been able to come in and step up on the offense side of the ball. And it could be a scheming thing. I mean, I know you mentioned that, on the defense side of the ball, we got a coach over there who may not be chopping it up the way we need to, but on the offense side of the ball, we've got a coach who, even though we've questioned some of the play calling that's been going on the offense side of the ball, it still seemed to be kind of all intuitive and making the team still get to where they need to be, if that makes sense, where we're still averaging, the points we need to per game to win.
Yeah, no one's calling for Jim Bob Cooter's fire, and no one's calling for
Right.
Shane Steichen's falling. There's only one guy that Colts Nation seems to be in agreement with. That's Gus Bradley. But yeah, like you said, Jamal, I feel like half of our top players are on IR on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. I mean, the season almost feels lost because every curse is still in full effect. Week one opener, the Jacksonville curse, and we're heading for that mediocre season, which I know you hate being mediocre. Like if we're gonna be bad, we need to be bad.
Yeah.
If we're gonna be really good, we need to be really good. But being in that messy middle, you don't really get a lot done. You miss the playoffs, and then you miss a chance at a really good pick in the draft. So it's terrible. It's terrible being mediocre. And I've been asking this question almost every week, for the defense, is it Gus Bradley or is it lack of talent? And, Shane Steichen, he's been very vocal with Bradley, saying he still backs him. He said Gus has been doing this for a long time, and he's had incredible defenses, obviously, where he's been. And he's got the faith and trust in him to get the thing turned around. And I get that, because you're not going to go up on the podium and be like, man, Gus Bradley stinks. Wish he was out this building. You're not going to go out there and say that. You're going to say what you need to say, because that's what you got to do as a head coach. You got to keep it all together, keep it cohesive. You don't, like, I'll say this. I went back and watched some of those explosive plays
Mhm.
that the Jaguars had against us, and because they had a good bit. And I think that's why we got eaten up. Like that's kind of why we lost, is we let too many explosive plays happen. Shane Steichen talked about that. Shane Steichen also talked about, should we change up our how many people we send to the quarterback, so 4, 5, 6 man rush. So that might have been a subtle hint at Gus Bradley.
Mhm.
We should shake it up. But those explosive plays, so the Travis Etienne screen, everyone bid on the play action, and Etienne just exploded past everyone. The Brian Thomas Jr. pass, everyone remembers, because there's an infamous meme now in the Colts community where Dallas Flowers is Supermaning in the air all the way to the waiver wire. He just got cooked. He just got cooked. There was blown coverage. I think he forgot who he was supposed to cover if you go back and watch. But Steichen cut him real quick. Tank's Bigsby both touchdown runs. Like one of them, giant gaping hole at the middle with 4 to 5
Mhm.
missed tackles. Second touchdown run, I counted about 6 to 7 missed tackles. Christian Kirk, we played, it looks like, quarters coverage on there, and it was just a good play call by the Jaguars, and he kind of blew by Jalen Jones and Julian Blackman. Yeah, they could have played that better, but again, it was blown coverage, one, but two, I feel like here's one thing I think we can fix is the missed tackles. Like, we're top 3 in missed tackles, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
We're 25th in points per game allowed. Trevor Lawrence has had his best games against Gus Bradley, and that's definitely a trend. So we talk about, I said it last episode. I was like, look, I'm not going to come on here and just shit on Gus Bradley. Like, we should be doing this every week, not only in losses, but in wins. So,
Mhm.
but I think that got taken. I think that my words got taken a little bit out of tongue, and they twisted it up in the comments I saw. But the defense hasn't been good under Bradley. That's definitely a trend as well. But then again, I can't blame him entirely. We forget Chris Ballard. He likes his guys, and he
Love.
constructed this team. Gus Bradley did not construct this team. So especially within the secondary, we talked about the secondary and their lack of depth and lack of good pieces. I mean, we were so high on Juju Brents. Well, I won't say we. Y'all was so high on Juju Brents.
Oh, you boy. Gonna lie to the people at the keep going.
No, I was a good bit high on him. I didn't think, I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but he was
Sure.
our savior, basically. Like, he was supposed to be this. He was gonna come back his second season and it's supposed to ball out, and now he's on the IR. I just think it's been a complete systematic failure. You can say it starts with Gus Bradley, but it really starts from the top. Jamal, I know you'll agree with me on that.
100%.
Defensive draft picks we've had under Ballard have not been good. The Bradley defensive scheme is severely outdated. I mean, there's a lot that goes into the pot of why we aren't successful, but it just seems like Gus Bradley is the fall guy for everything. It should start there, but there are some other issues, and I don't know how you feel about that, Jamal. I don't know.
I mean, I literally couldn't have said that any better. Y'all are lucky that Eric explained it that way versus me, because I would have been like probably down a rabbit hole right now, conspiracy theorist rabbit hole. So lucky Eric explained it. But just to kind of sum up what he said in a nutshell, what Eric said is that Gus Bradley in his third year in Indy ranks 25th in scoring defense, 29th in pass defense, 31st in rush defense, 32nd in yards allowed per game. All those numbers have something in common. They're all in the bottom 7 of the league. Bottom 7. This defense, I mean, that's just unbelievable that it can be that bad for what it's worth, and it's kind of crazy because I truly don't know at this point whether it's, like you mentioned, the talent, whether it's the scheme. Is the scheme too
Injuries.
difficult? Is it the injuries or what? Because I feel like so often you'll watch the Colts, and then like after a big play breaks off, everyone's kind of standing and pointing at each other like the Spider-Man meme, like, you were supposed to be here, you're supposed to be here, you're supposed yeah. And I'm like, how is it that you guys have been together now for, most of y'all, 2 years, and you still are having questions about where the next person should be? That's no continuity within the defense. So maybe this game is too much. Maybe this soft cover is too much.
It's like,
Because
we play cover 3, we play
I
some cover 4,
I
we play
know.
some man cover. We're not even disguising coverages. We're
I
not
know.
7 heavy blitz. Like, people should know their assignments by now.
They should.
I know it's a young team, but
It's not an
man, like
excuse.
things aren't shaping up what they're supposed to be. Like this isn't. Yo, Gus Bradley ain't running no complex defense. Like he, like, let's keep
Oh
that
man.
crystal clear. This man is not running no high IQ defense. This is basic send 3, send 4. Like this
hmm
is I don't know. I could
hmm
look. I could
No,
be
you're not wrong.
completely off.
I truly do think a lot of it too, though, is kind of going back to what you said. It starts at the top. Ballard's to blame for a lot of this stuff too, because I know you mentioned the Juju and how we thought he was gonna be the savior, but one of the biggest things I said about Juju during the entire draft process, and again, we're not going down a long hole with him, but one thing I said um was that like it scared me was him getting beat all the time. And when he was at Northwestern, getting beat, he was able to make up that ground on the back end because of his speed and his length. But that was an issue of getting beat. Obviously, injuries you can't control that right now. That stinks that he's been injured year over year. But
Yeah.
like some of these things where he's getting beat, that was like my biggest fear of him coming in. And that's not just to blow at him. That's just it made me think of it when you said that. But one thing is, with Ballard, we know Ballard only cares about the raw score, RAS. That's what it's about. Somebody could be dog water, but if they are 9.9, he gonna sign them. Call it what you want to with that. I'm not in the league by any means, clearly, but I
Oh
just think
my
that there's a
goodness.
lot that goes into it. And Ballard, he's too stuck in his own ways. That's never going to change till he's gone. But I just want to throw out a couple stats for you too, as well, that I saw online here today. So since Gus Bradley's been here, we've seen a decline in defense. The Colts ranking in total defense went from 15th his first year now to 24th, or excuse me, 24th last year, and now to last. So I mean, these are issues where Bradley is having like something's going on. And like you said, it's just an outdated thing. Shane Steichen is never going to be like, hey, like you said, hey, I'm gonna get him out of here, whatever the case is. But there's a reason why he's had great past defenses. The league has evolved so much. We said the same thing with Frank when he was still our head coach. We said the league has evolved. We need that new spicy coordinator in here or coach in here who can add and elevate to the game the things that have changed. Not somebody who's still playing his bland vanilla defense that is not complicated, but it's still get exposed every single week. Nothing has changed. It's not gonna change. We're gonna continue to be subpar, mediocre, as we know, and then we'll go trade our draft picks for some later ones. We'll get rid of our only ones we care about and go pick up some later ones. But Gus Bradley, again, he can't get all the blame, but at some point, he's going to be the scapegoat as far as it goes. If it becomes to Ballard versus Bradley and who's keeping their job, Bradley will be the scapegoat. There's zero question
Yeah.
behind that. And I think that both should go. That's just my humble opinion. But but we'll see what happens, man. I mean, I can't sit here and say they're going to figure it out. They're not going to figure it out because I'm not in the locker room. I don't know what's going on. I know that the confidence in the team is there, but you just can't look at this like with a straight face every week and say like we're okay. Like this isn't that like dumpster fire meme with the dog or that dog sitting in a chair with the fire going on around him. He's just like, yeah, I'm fine. Like no, that's not what this is. This is a legit dumpster fire, and they need to figure it out, which I don't think is going to happen.
Yeah, and I don't think firing Gus Bradley mid-season is going to save us though.
No,
Like
no, it's not.
we need to keep that just 100 with y'all.
Yeah.
That's what I don't really think that, remember all the firings we had mid-season a few years ago? What did that do? I mean, we brought in Jeff Saturday, we got rid of offensive coordinator, head coach. Like nothing really I mean, the offensive line kind of shaped up, but we essentially tanked. We gave up the worst comeback of all time to the Vikings, I believe.
Yeah, that was a scary game.
It just it got us closer to that top 5 draft pick, which some will say is a good thing. But I can't, as like a true fan, I can't root for us to lose every single week of the NFL season when I've been cherishing the NFL season to come back. I'm not going to sit there and put on a Colts jersey and be like, all right, man, let's go, Richardson, throw 4 picks, baby. Like I'm not about to do that. So, if Gus Bradley wants a remote chance of keeping his job, he's gonna have to make some big adjustments to get the most out of this injured and not so talented squad. Like he will, like you said, he's gonna be the fall guy at the end of the season. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
So he needs to Like, he's got to make some impact now. Like, the fans are restless. The media is starting to catch on. It's about to be a good game, baby.
Hey, we like our guys, man. We like our guys. That's what it boils down to.
We
At the end
like
of the
our
day.
guys. We need a shirt. We need a shirt made that just says "We like
Oh,
our
we
guys."
should. Yeah. All
Man,
right, bet. Hey, yeah, that's happening.
we like
That's
our guys. Hey.
happening.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for us, everyone, this episode. Let us know what you think in the comments about the injury woes, about Gus Bradley, about the defense, about everything, man. We want to hear from y'all. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. We're live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. And we'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content.
Take it
Later.
easy.